Oh my God, Craig's here.
He is.
Jay, say hi.
Oh, hello. What's up, Greg?
He's kind of nervous now. I mean, you kind of made him sit there in silence for a second.
Sorry. I was gonna play my soundboard, then he joined.
Oh, well, what soundboard were you gonna play?
I just had no one.
Nice. I like it.
That's that's a keeper. That
That's
is
in
a
my
keeper.
personal server.
I was
That's
gonna
just like
say,
me and
yeah.
one friend.
Nice. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Infinite Volume. I'm your host for this episode today. Nathan is my name. Um, Joined today, I have these fellas. English.
Okay.
Me and you.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna get like I'm gonna
I
get
have
it
no
like a thing
clue.
of a gorilla just like pointing to himself and then pointing at the viewer. Me?
Me. You.
You.
I did
So
not
stupid.
get the bit.
Um, how's everyone going? How's everyone going? Oh my God, I was speaking normal English before starting the recording.
You're having stage fright.
I am. I'm just like Craig for real. Um, how's everyone's nights going? How was everyone's week, Log? What has happened to you this week? Go.
I me.
Oh my god.
I went to work and I came home from work. And I feel like I say this every week. It's kind of how life is, but
Yeah.
True.
yeah. I went to work, came home from work, just hung out a little bit, and rewatched Rogue One tonight. More Star Wars talk. Nate, your eyes
There
can
we
glaze
go.
over,
Glazing over.
but
Huh?
rewatched Rogue One
What?
after watching both seasons of Andor, and it is. You know how people say, "Oh, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. You shouldn't really uh talk shit about someone if you don't know their whole story." That I got that put into perspective to me, or for me today after watching Rogue One again, because when I first Justin said this too, he was like, when I first watched Rogue One, I thought Cassian was an asshole, and I was thinking, why does he keep yelling at Jin like that? But after watching Andor, you're like, yeah, Jin, you need to shut the fuck up because this guy's seen some shit.
Yeah,
Um,
Andor does add a lot of context to his
yeah,
character.
but it was it was good, very good movie.
Nice.
That would have been a great segue if we were doing an episode on character development
That'd be a
today.
great segue if we were doing
That
an
would have
episode
been
on
a
Star Wars.
We should do that.
The great Star Wars episode. That'll be the episode you guys truly get me to shut the fuck up for a little bit.
Yes, well, we should have that episode be after you watch Star Wars.
The
Yeah.
Star Wars review.
Yes,
I see.
and then that way you can talk with us about it and how Obi-Wan is Darth Vader,
I see. That's true.
if you know, you
And
know.
Yoda is Palpatine's right hand man.
Exactly.
Yep. Shout out to repeating bits. Speaking of bits, that's kind of what today's episode is about, right? Talk about good
Jayden didn't do
segues.
his small talk, bro.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
bit.
Oh, okay. No small talk with
Okay,
Jayden.
Jay, you can go.
That's okay. It's okay.
No. What'd you do this week, man? I'm just doing a funny.
Pretty
Today's
much
about
just
funnies.
same old. Except I don't think I had finished that. I don't remember if I had finished Indiana Jones last week. If we
I
had,
don't think you
we had
mentioned it.
recorded.
The Great Circle.
You finished
Yes.
it, but you didn't talk about it.
Ye-
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did get the platinum trophy for it.
Yeah.
It's now my second
Congratulations.
platinum trophy on PlayStation. I've been working on Watch Dogs. I just finished the main story this morning. So now I'm going back and
Okay.
doing all like the side content now.
Nice.
What else? Kind of funny to say this. I'm actually all caught up on Family Guy.
W-
Because that's like
What?
what I'll have like on in the background as I'm playing.
Interesting.
Shout out.
It's just a show, and just have on.
It's just a show.
No, it's just like Family Guy's one of those shows that it's like there's no like overlap. There's no like no overall story for the most part. You know what I
Except for
mean?
when Brian died.
Yeah, that was different though.
Yeah. There's like it's more of like an episodic. Like there's a new story each episode.
Yeah.
So that's something I can put on the background. Don't really have to pay too much attention to. And so I've caught up on that, and I started uh American Dad, which is one that I had watched more of before. So like I've seen some of the episodes already.
Why'd you skip over the Cleveland show?
Because I heard it's not good. No.
What?
I heard
out
the
of
Cleveland show was
all
not good.
out of all the shows that I've watched, like between those three, the Cleveland show is actually my favorite, unironically.
See,
That's
I've
crazy.
always enjoyed
I just like Cleveland. He's funny.
American Dad.
Okay.
That was the first one out of the
Did they ever do a Joe Swanson show?
No,
No.
I should do that.
they should.
Seth MacFarlane, if you're watching.
Shout out to the funny episode bringing up the like least funny shit imaginable. We're just like just talking about fucking Family Guy and like American Dad. That is good. That is good. Jay, you said before the podcast you didn't have a great poll this week. I don't know, man. I think you've cemented your stay here.
Okay. Noah, I'll take it. I survived another week.
No, Jay's not canceled. He beat the Jay allegations.
Just don't mention Nihao Kailan.
Yeah, well, you haven't beaten your
You've been
allegations, that's for sure. Anything else besides marathoning Seth MacFarlane?
No, we don't talk about marathon, bro.
Yeah. We could. It got delayed officially. Who would have seen that coming?
It's gonna get canceled.
It probably
I'm assuming there's one thing I want to talk about. I think I'm gonna let you talk about, Nate. The big one that came out this week.
Rematch.
Yes, I'll let you talk about that because I know you have more playing time on it than I do.
We should talk about rematch because we've talked about rematch. This might be our fourth or fifth time bringing it up on the podcast.
But now it's better because now
it's officially out this week. It's awesome. Well, you got the 3-day early access, and then the official release was yesterday. And man, being able to play that game without knowing that I only have like 2 days or 3 days to play it is so nice because I don't feel the pressure to have to sit there and grind on it the entire day. For real, I don't feel the need to like sit there and play all day and all night just to maximize my time on the game. Like I can just sit there and have a good time with it and like not super worry. And like having a ranked mode that matters now is a lot of fun too, just as like a competitive gamer.
Yeah. I still feel like we need a 3v3 ranked.
Yeah, 3v3 ranked for sure. That game is so like in Rocket League, right? The mode that most people would have played is threes. So like it wasn't that bad. Getting a team of 5 together and also like getting because right, I guess for context for the listener, rematch only has a ranked 5v5 mode. And that is its only ranked mode. And outside of that, there's like quick play, which has 3s, 4s, and 5s, and that's it. There's no other way to play the games. So for ranked 5s, like at most we've had about 3, maybe 4 people on at a time. In the randoms in rematch compared to like a random in Rocket League, there's so much more room for mechanical error for a rematch player and just like strategical error too. Like if you're not communicating with the random in your party or like the random in your game or whatever, like it, or group of randoms, it can be really, really hard to get.
Oh,
we lost him.
Oh, I lost him.
He'll be back.
We lost me?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're back.
You cut out at eh. That's all. That's the
Oh
last
yeah,
thing you said.
that helps. I'm throwing out a picture of Big Chungus for that one.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what's up, Doc? You know,
Oh, I
you're
get it
welcome.
now.
I don't. I'm also not kidding. That does not help me. What did I say right before?
Talking about how with the randoms, it's
If you're not communicating at
Oh yeah,
all, you
if you're not
can't do
with them,
I'm assuming
anything
you
like
say
you
yeah,
can't get
and
anything to click with them. It's really really rough. So I hope they add some more ranked modes that require less players. Um, and I hope as the game is now officially out and sticking around, it'll kind of like all the people who are just excited for football will eventually like, slowly lean off the game. The people who are like really invested in it, like us, are going to be able to find other players who are really invested in it. And the competitive scene should just get a lot better. So shout out to Rematch. Congratulations on a good launch. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for making the game.
well,
Slow Clap, my favorite devs.
according to Steam, it wasn't as good of a launch as we think it was.
Really?
Yeah, it came out with mixed reviews on Steam, and right now it's on mostly positive. So
I see.
it's
Uh,
not
I
like
I have
the
to
greatest.
imagine it's because one crossplay wasn't able to get done in time,
yeah.
and two, I'd have to imagine some of the server issues uh that have been around. But it's not
Yeah.
like the game's unplayable. Like
Yeah.
that is thank you, Log, actually, because that's a good segue into one of the like my other small talk for today. Um, the new Shadowverse game dropped. Which do either of you know what Shadowverse is?
Yeah, it's the card game. I was
Yeah,
about to
No
message
clue.
you when I saw that the other day, and I forgot to. But now that you're bringing it up, yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
Jay, do you know what Shadowverse is?
I don't think so.
It is a online, like it's like an app, uh, collectible card game that's similar to like Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But it's like damn near strictly anime. It is the most weeb shit out there. But it's a lot of fun, and I liked the first one a lot. I didn't play it an insane amount, but like I liked the concept of it. And I had my time with it. And then this past week or so, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond drops, which is I assume it's the official sequel to the first Shadowverse. And by all metrics, like this game is just, in my opinion, better than Shadowverse 1. Like there's so much more to do. It has like a full on like lobby system that you would see in like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Log. It just has like chibi characters that you can have walk around and like sit at tables and play matches and stuff. It's cool. And the animations and like the card art and everything feels very premium. That game opened up to like overwhelmingly negative reviews
Yeah, it's
on
still at
Steam.
mostly negative right now. Out
Yeah,
of not 22% out of
I
9,900.
understand where people are coming from, but in my opinion, it is the most like I think it's very unfair to review bomb a game over one issue you have with it over instead of like giving it the review it deserves and then just highlighting the criticism you have in the review. So, from my understanding, the general economy for the game is a lot more rough than it was in the first Shadowverse. So like they upped the cost of some things, like card packs and stuff, and the amount of like dust, which for like non-card game players or like digital card game players, that's like if you have an overabundance of a card, you can like destroy it and then get like materials to craft new cards with. Um, the amount of that you get back has been like dampened. Like you don't get back as much for doing that as you did in Shadowverse 1. So people saw that and they were again rightfully pretty annoyed about it. But I think the package as a whole is like so much better than Shadowverse 1. Like I've been having a ton of fun with it. I have let me check my Steam real quick. I have 6 hours on the game. I've been playing. This is what I've been doing, like in between rematch and like in between hanging out in like voice calls and stuff with you guys. This has been like my go-to like private gaming sessions, just chilling on this, having a coffee, and uh just grinding out some card games. But I don't know. I think it's just unfair that people are so quick to review bomb something over an issue that like over again a fair issue, but like just a single issue over it instead of like giving the game praise in the areas I think it deserves praise in. The game like uses I can't remember if Shadowverse 1 did, but it has like a really cool like live 2D effect to all the characters.
I think it had it.
I think it
One
had it
had it
too.
as well.
This feels like this just feels a step up. Like you can tell this is a new game. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get flamed in the comments. Maybe there's something I'm missing. But I've been having fun with it. And to be fair, I think it was the most sold. Like it's like the #1 selling game on Steam, even though it's a free to play game. Like people are just like buying a shit ton of microtransactions and shit. And has a ton of
So they get
players
you.
right now. That's true. That's true. So there has to be some like truth to the game is doing well and people like it. So it's definitely, in my opinion, dishonest to just go to the Steam page and review bomb it like that. But what do I know? Uh, but that's all I got.
I
Shadowverse is
kind
cool. I'm a Shadowverse stan, and
I
rematch is a
kind of
banger.
just feel like that's how games are now. Like you can't really
Oh
go
yeah,
based off of the Steam reviews.
dude. The internet will fight over anything
Hmm.
at all. And then like whether or not people do their research on it or like try something out, they'll all just like pile on top. It's
Yeah.
such a problem.
Yeah,
That kind
that's
of
why
behavior is like why I don't use Twitter or anything.
I was gonna say that's why I don't look at the Steam. Well, I don't trust the Steam reviews within the first, I'd say 2.5 to 3 weeks that the game is out, because at that point it's just herd mentality. But as soon as it hits like a month, that's when the reviews of people who actually stuck around and played the whole game. Like you'll look in the first week and it'll be someone with 0.3 hours on the game complaining that, oh, the combat sucks because I didn't have 25 moves right at the beginning of the game or some shit. And then everyone else is like, yeah, the combat's pretty weak. And then 2 weeks later you'll check again and someone will be like, I don't know what the fuck all those first reviews were talking about. This game is awesome.
Yeah.
So
Even with the older games, I kind of just go on of most recent.
Most recent reviews. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. The Steam review thing helps a lot, don't get me wrong. Like I definitely appreciate it. I've definitely avoided some stinkers. Like I had Mind's Eye, which is another game that launched recently, on
oh,
my
that
wish
one,
list.
yeah.
Yeah, I had it on my wish list. I was interested based on like the trailers to check it out, but as soon as I saw the reviews on Steam, I was like, okay, this game just by the premise of it alone kind of already had signs of this was going to be a flop. So I'm glad that I had dodged a bullet on that one and waited to actually buy it.
Like
Um,
like I'm into map games, and Victoria 3 came out last year,
mhm.
and oh, not wow, holy shit! I just looked it up. 2022 actually.
Yeah, last year.
Yep. Well, 3 years ago. And it's like you look at it, all reviews, there's 34,000 reviews. It's mixed, but the most recent is mostly positive.
Yeah.
I still haven't picked it up yet. I might pick it up. It's on sale
The
this
way
week.
gaming is too now, like so many games released unfinished and then like take a little bit to get going
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of like getting patches and stuff. Which there's no excuse for, but like that's just the world we live in now.
Hmm.
So uh it's definitely worth it to like wait and then read more recent reviews for sure on that sort of thing. But if that is small talk done, I would like to move into. So we've had this segment in between small talk and the discussion before, where I talk about a manga I'm currently reading that's like more mainstream. I would like to make it like an official segment. So I'm going to, from now on, like, if I read a chapter I really like for the week of something, in Shonen Jump or Jump Plus or anything like that, I'm going to like make a note of it and like take some screenshots of like what I really liked, and then we'll talk about it. Uh, Especially now that the episodes are more caught up to like more current event stuff. I feel like it makes sense. So we're calling this the manga spotlight instead of the indie spotlight. How do you guys like that name?
I like
Okay.
it.
I'm live testing this with them now. I did not discuss this before the podcast.
Or you can go
So
mainstream.
What?
No, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, like
what-
for the name?
Yeah,
what are
like
you
the
talking about?
mainstream spotlight. I don't know.
Mainstream spotlight. Okay.
The first page.
The
Sorry.
first page.
No, because we have the indie spotlight, and you're gonna call this what, the
Finite
manga
volume.
spotlight.
Finite volume is stupid. On today's manga spotlight, I'd like to talk about Ichi the Witch. I have probably brought up Ichi the Witch on the podcast before, but I don't think I've like really talked about it. I think
I don't
Mel
think
immediately
so.
put a poggers on that one.
Yeah, I'll join
I don't
over
think
there.
you've talked about it on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Really? Oh man. So the concept for Ichi the Witch, like the premise, is the world of the manga is inhabited by witches, and they go around and they collect magic like magic are like like elementals and stuff, and like different like magical beings that have trials, and then if they beat their trial they acquire the magic, so then they get like magic spells and stuff. But only women can be witches. So the manga starts, and the main character Ichi is like a hunter. He was born in the wild, pretty much. He only knows how to hunt and stuff like that. And then one day he ends up in a situation where like the top witch, or like one of the top witches, Discaris, who is one of the funniest. Not really cool that I brought this up, honestly, during this episode, because I was going to bring it up last week, but I feel like this works better this episode because she is insanely funny. And I'll explain why in a bit. But Ichi ends up in a situation within the first chapter where Discaris is in a trial with the it's like Supreme Magic, or like the Dark King Magic or something like. I forget his official name, but I know his name's Aurora or something like that. He's like supposed to be one of the like primo magics. He's like emperor of them all, essentially.
So like
And
Palpatine.
his trial.
I'm
Oh,
kidding. Sorry, what?
what'd you say?
I said so like Palpatine, because you said
Yeah,
Emperor.
and Yoda. So his trial is that females can't acquire him. Only a male can acquire him.
He's
So
gay.
I guess
That's awesome.
if you think so, that this manga's gay as hell, actually.
Oh, I mean, I would.
It's
be
very
careful
pretty.
with how you
It's
say
very
that.
pretty. Ichi acquires him because just using his like hunting instincts and stuff, like that's kind of the subversion for the start of the manga, and becomes the first male witch. And from there, it is kind of like, honestly, it reminds me a lot of Fairy Tail. It has that sort of like gathering right now. Anyways, we're like 30 plus chapters in, and they're still gathering the main group. In like the way the magic works reminds me, and the way the world is built reminds me a lot of Fairy Tail. But the artwork, like, I mean, I posted it in the podcast content. The artwork is insane. I love reading this every week. The paneling is so fun. The designs for all the characters are really cool. Right now, the reason I bring it up is because right now we've got I don't want to say our first arc. I would argue we're in the second arc, but like the first arc since the initial group was formed. So like this is our first real arc with Ichi out in the world, along with Descaris and Kugami? I don't remember her name, but they have like a little research girl with them who's kind of funny. That I just she hasn't done much yet. She's not even in those screenshots, I don't think. But in this first arc, they oh, the pacing for it is so good. It's like such a great traditional shonen arc. We go from at the end, I would say like the end of the first arc, where Ichi's still getting accustomed to being a witch. They have they have like a council of witches, and they're like, okay, how are we going to handle this? This is like an unprecedented situation. Not only is he a male witch, which is like not heard of, but he also has like the super supreme power of doom, basically. So, can he even be trusted? Is he dangerous? Should we contain him and stuff like that? So they go to have a like little exam for him, and while they're having this exam at the end of the first arc, they introduce the big bad, the human hater magic, which is like, I mean, it is what it's in the name. Dude just hates people. He's known for just big calamities and stuff. He shows up. There's a big fight with them, and then in the second arc, Descaris kind of like wards them away. We don't really see everything that goes down, but it's like a brief encounter, just setting up the stakes for later in the manga, right? And in the second arc, we meet a magic who I can't remember what their name is on the top of my head, but the idea is that I know they call them Bakugami, and they are like this country of happiness is God, on the surface, but on behind the scenes, they're like a number one fan of the world hater magic, and they're like sucking in all the sorrow from the people of the country to like eventually just put it back out into the country randomly one day to just cause mass havoc and chaos to like appease the world hater magic. So already the stakes for this manga are insanely high. Like it went from zero. I don't want to say 0 to 100 because we started with such a powerful magic being acquired at the start of it, but it just feels like even with that start, it has felt like every arc since and every like story beat since has been like upping the ante, and it's such a great it just has great pacing. The like secondary character of this arc too, that's totally going to join the main party. That guy with the balls around his back, kind of Enaru style, Jay.
Yeah.
He is another guy, but instead of using magic like Ichi, he's like think Frankie from One Piece. Like he's modified his body so that he can use magical items, or like items infused with magic. So he's just like a really cool brawler character, and he's insane. He's been insanely fun to follow as well. Overall, I know that was a bit of a lengthy spiel, but I can't digress enough how fun this series has been. I think like if we're talking the next big 3 or like the next big manga, I mean this is only 30 chapters in, but this spot or this manga already has a spot in the top slots. Like I think it's really good.
Is this in whatchamacallit? Not Shonen Jump.
It's in weekly, I think.
Oh,
I
it's
think
in
this
the
is a
weekly.
yeah, because I think it's so good. So at the start of the conversation, I brought up Descaris, which is the dark-skinned, super powerful witch lady that you're seeing in the top of the 18th hunt page I brought up. She's really cool. She's very strong. Do you see at the bottom of that page that she kind of like just pushes Ichi away in like a bubble, just as out of the
Yeah.
way?
Oh yeah.
Her whole character is that she's like just a shit poster. She literally, like, in the fight with the World Hater Magic, at the end of that first arc, um, she, like, ticks off the World Hater Magic and then just goes, "I'm sorry," spelt out like that. And that is her whole shtick the entire time, and it sounds goofy, but she's so funny.
I'm sure it would make a lot more sense reading the whole thing, but
Yeah, she calls her, I think her official thing she goes by is Ascaris, the uber badass witch. So
well, in the panel you showed us, it says the Abyssal Witch.
it does, but that's the name of the chapter. That's not the name that Ascaris would give herself.
I see.
Um, I should have grabbed. Honestly, minus points for me today for not grabbing a funny panel of Discaris, but I'll throw some up in post and editing for the episode. Definitely, like, I'm actually gonna lead this into our main topic, like just ramping up our main discussion here and like leading into it. Uh, I think a good way to do humor in manga, in anime in general, since the format of it is you want to exaggerate things a lot, like that's just kind of at the core of manga and anime is exaggeration. Both in the art style, in the stories you're telling, and stuff like that. When it comes to humor, uh, having these over exaggerated like archetypes or characters, um, I think works really well, and not just over exaggerated, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, I keep going opposite. What is it when like two things clash?
Combination?
No, not the word I'm looking
What?
for.
Oh, like
Uh,
clash is in like contradictory?
yes, thank you. Discaris is a contradictory character because she's supposed to be this insanely strong witch, like number one, top of her game. Everyone knows who she is. Uh, so you would think that and I mean, you look at her character design and she looks very like regal, right? Like you would think she's very pretty and very like mellow and like maybe a bit reverent, but no, she's just an asshole. Like her whole thing is that she's super selfish and she is always thinking about herself to the point where it's just comedic. They're have to set up at the start of Ichi, like or like towards the start of Ichi, that she needs to keep tabs on Ichi, so he's not running a fucking muck like a wild animal. Uh, so she signs a contract with him, like a magic contract, where if Ichi dies or gets in, or if Ichi does something he's not supposed to, Discaris, he's essentially a slave to her. But if Ichi dies, Discaris dies. So from that point on, anytime Ichi goes off and does any like wild animal bullshit, she immediately starts sweating bullets and she's like, I swear to God, where is this kid? I do not trust him. I'm like, I could die at any moment.
So why the fuck would she do that?
Uh, it's a bit complicated. She is a cool character. She does it because she cares for him. And also because she does legally need to keep tabs on him because he is kind of like a walking nuke.
Gotcha.
But that contrast in her character, I think, is a very, I don't want to say easy, but like a very common trope in manga where like you set something up or you set the expectation up and then you shatter the expectation by writing something new or like contradictory with the character, and that, or rather you write something contradictory or over exaggerated, which makes something new, which gets the reader to get a good chuckle, or at least crack a smile. Do you guys have any what do you guys think? Am I off base with this?
No, I
No.
think you brought up a good I don't know, subsection of, or I guess category of humor.
of the funnies.
Yeah.
I think then we can do like a mini segment here with Mob Psycho 100. No, Log, I know
Yeah.
you've yeah, this one's all you, buddy. What do you got for
Well,
talk about breaking expectations?
well, I will say that I think the best thing that Mob does is not the character archetype humor. I think it's the page flip humor where it's just like it could be so serious one moment. It could even work the other way too, where it's so like hilarious and funny one moment, and then you turn the page and someone's like, "And my uncle just got set on fire" or some bullshit, and it's like, what the? Where the fuck did that come from? Like, you just do. It would just be the most random shit, and I can't remember. Oh, obviously when he's fighting Hanazawa and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't use my you shouldn't use your powers against people." And then he fucking rips his hair off and then dude's just got a huge ass bald spot from that fight. And then the very next time you see him, he's like he has that fucking 10-foot tall wig on and you're like, "What the why the fuck does this kid have that shit on?" There's so many just like I don't know. I don't know what to call it. It's not slapstick. It's like shock humor. Like
Yeah,
it just
Yeah.
comes up so quick that you don't even know what to think about it.
when
And
I
See,
oh,
that's my
uh,
I like that type of humor.
what do you
I
got,
feel
Jay?
like I kind of appreciate Mob Psycho more for this. Is that like there's some that like you can tell they're trying really hard, but like with Mob, it kind of just like it just flow. It's just like natural. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Because there are definitely like some shows or some manga where they kind of like try to be funny, and no,
I have an
I'm just
example
gonna bring it
too.
up Super with Super, like they dumb down uh Goku to try to be funny,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
it's
the
just
agree.
like
Yeah,
it doesn't hit. You know what I mean?
they
With Mob,
use
it's just
the
like
okay.
it just flows like his character from what I've read. It's just like yeah, he doesn't like he's not going out there and trying to be funny. He's just like some of the stuff like the way he acts sometimes it just like it's naturally funny.
Yeah, because you don't expect him to say the shit he does because you would never say that in real life.
Yeah,
But he just says what he's thinking because he doesn't know how it affects people because it doesn't affect him.
yeah.
He's so and actually it's funny you brought that up because I was at the chapter that I just read today, the little author's note or the little side note at the bottom said that the reason why his nickname is Mob is because in Japanese the dictation for a character in a play that's a background character that still appears in the story
Hmm.
is a mob character. So he's like um he's literally just called that because he is that. He's not the he is the main character, but he acts so unlike a main character that he's part of the mob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, I getcha.
So that I think that definitely lends itself to him being funny. He's way funnier himself in the manga than he is in the anime, I will say.
Yeah, he's a shithead for sure.
He
And I it's funny I brought up Discaris because I think Discaris and Mob have very similar character like tropes going on.
yeah, it seems like it.
I guess Discaris is definitely emotionally way more unhinged, but the same vibe of you wouldn't expect this character to act this way, and then they do.
Yeah. There was something else that happened
I was
in the most
thinking
recent
of
chapter too, but I can't remember.
I was thinking with Mob too, like when it comes to like page turn humor, like I go to the early example of when he joins the body improvement club instead of joining
The
the
telepathy
telepathy
club?
yeah. Like that is literally a page turn. Like they set it up as if he's going to join them, and then he turns. He's like, "I want to be better. I want to be
Yeah,
better.
I
I
want
want
to
to."
be muscular. He's
Yeah,
like,
like you guys.
I want to
And they're
impress
just like,
women.
everyone's like, "What? What do you what?"
And then fucking Musashi is like, yes, my boy. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
I know.
Welcome.
Oh, Mob Psycho's hilarious. All of One's stuff is pretty funny like that. I almost grabbed examples from One's most recent work, Bug Ego. Um, that shit is unhinged. Like that is. I wish there was something that I knew you guys have seen, that like translates to the kind of humor that Bug Ego has, but it's like it'll just randomly it'll go from one page setting up like some kind of horror scenario to the next page having like hyper realistic drawing of the main character in a super funny way, completely out of left field, like the same kind of page turn humor as Mob. And Mob does that too to a certain degree, but like not to the like level of detail that Bug Eagle does. Bug Ego does. Bug Eagle. Christ.
Bug Eagle. You
Um,
you mentioned that one on the podcast a while back too.
yeah, that one's going pretty well. They've set up some cool. God, they had a chapter a couple months back that like it's been two main characters for most of the runtime of that manga so far. It's still early. It's like it releases monthly or bi-monthly. Um, they there was just a chapter introducing like the third main character a few months back that like hit super emotionally deep, like out of fucking nowhere. Like I was not ready for it. I think her name's Yuki, the black haired girl from that series. For our listeners at home, she's awesome. That was a super cool chapter. I might bring that chapter up if we ever have like a spotlight on Bug Ego itself, which is possible. That series is fun. But back to the main discussion here. So I told the fellas at the start of our before we started recording, I have a couple of examples that I've brought with me today to help steer the conversation uh on the funny bits, especially that has happened or specifically scenes that have gone down in recent Shonen Jump that I thought were pretty fucking good. That got a chuckle out of me. We can open with this because this is a pretty easy one to digest here. Uh, Recently in Shonen Jump, we just got the first chapter of I think it's called. I'm not gonna even butcher it. I'm just gonna scroll up in our fucking Discord chat. Harukaze Mound, which is a new baseball manga. That's very Haikyuu esque,
Oh,
and I love it.
that was one you were talking about the other day, right?
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but there's a character who shows up who is brand new to the team, and he's like a little shithead. Uh, he introduces himself to like the two main twins, and at first he just like I'll give you guys a second to read that page actually.
He definitely seems like the Tanaka of this series.
Yeah, he is it Tonica or more like trying to think if there's another like shitheady character. Oh, you know who?
Suki.
Kuro from Nekoma is the
Yeah,
vibe I was getting.
yeah, that makes sense.
Just like I don't know, maybe I just like shithead characters. They're funny to me. They've got a vibe to them that I can appreciate. He
Yeah.
has good like
Oh, good.
sorry, I was gonna say he also has good like facial I was gonna say animations, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he makes some funny faces.
Mhm.
You got to turn one of them into a sticker, like he did with
Like the
Ashi.
Awashi one. Yeah. Um that was such a pain in the ass to make, Loki. But
You don't
I
have to
got you.
turn him into a sticker.
I will. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I like the curvy, funny tongue and cheek one he's got going on in the bottom left there. But I bring this one up because again, just an example of a character who's pretty tongue in cheek and like kind of poking fun at people or just ignoring them, just kind of doing his own thing. I thought it would be a good primer. I guess I also pulled this one before we discussed Ascaris. I wasn't expecting to discuss Ascaris like that. So let's do a scene, like a funny scene next. So this next one is from the Marshall King, which I know I've talked about before plenty of times. This one's a couple pages. I don't expect you guys to read the whole thing. In fact, I actually already fucked up uploading it. So stop looking. Stop looking!
Okay.
Spoilers! The premise for this one is they are testing Jimu right now. And if like the school that he's attending, and if the school can win out against him in this contest they're doing with him, then he has to stay and like actually graduate the school essentially, because right now he's so strong that he's trying to like persuade everyone and like on the staff and stuff that he doesn't need the school at all. He was there for one specific reason. He's already accomplished that goal and now he's going to leave. So we're at the climax of all the tests here, and he's facing off against one of his classmates. And after like pushing himself to exhaustion, he goes to suplex her. Like he just I mean, you see that.
Yeah.
Jimu like lifts her up at the end of a chapter, pretty much out of nowhere. He like tricks her, grabs her, and you think, okay, well, this is ridiculous. There's no way this ends well. The next chapter rolls around, the chapter from this week, and I didn't show the page, but the clock that sets up in this specific test that they have to stop like engaging in hand-to-hand combat ticks off right before he throws her. So he has to like just put her down and like, all right, well, my bad. We'll go back to doing that. The character, I think her name's Black Belt? Mira
Yeah.
Black Belt, I think, is her full name. She has been a very like she's been like a cool badass female protagonist. So this side of her with like the growling we have never seen before. This is completely new to her character. This came out of fucking nowhere. And it like completely revitalized her in the test as well. And I admittedly haven't read the full chapter. I just didn't have time. But I have read a good chunk of it, and I assume she wins here. I think she just gets like a second win and beats the crap out of Jimu in this contest. Again, another funny subversion. Like I said, I didn't have to. I don't want you guys to have to read this whole section because I grabbed like 8 pages. But I think you see what I mean. I mean, Marshall King in general, what I want to show with this one is like the facial expressions. The facial expressions are so funny.
Isn't this the one that got canceled?
No. Marshall King is the one by Dr. Stone. The Dr. Stone guy.
Oh, okay. I thought it was fuck, what the fuck was that one? You brought it up one week, and then the week after we were talking about the shiny axe, and you were like, it already got canceled.
No Name?
Yeah, No Name.
Yeah, that one yeah, that one was rough. That was a rough cancellation. That one wasn't necessarily super funny, but it was cool. Big rips. This is a good segue into this next one I have. But Jay, did you have anything you wanted to say on the the funny haha faces on these characters. They're very animated now that I'm looking at them. Like they
Yeah.
go from like dot eyes to big open popping out of their face eyes to like completely blank ones.
I
Like I
definitely
get
have a
it.
favorite.
Like that's kind of like how the genre is. Like that's more of like the visual gags for it. But
Yeah,
still, it's like that's something that I can like it kind of like if you like, because I know you kind of just got pages like from here and there, so you don't like we're not getting the whole context to it. But even like from like what we have, you can kind of see like how it flows and it's just natural.
yeah. In the doc, in our like big secret infinite volume doc where we have all the episode ideas and stuff, on the side of this episode I listed in parentheses natural character interactions because I feel like, well, like you brought up with Goku earlier from Super, you can try to force being funny with your characters, but if it doesn't feel natural, like in like Mob, then it really falls flat on its face. So having characters interact in a way that's both funny but like natural for their character, uh even if it's subverting the expectation of their character, right? Um then you got something good on your hands. Log, I'm going to take a guess. Oh, I know my favorite one is the panel where it says Mira's snapped and the little
Yes,
girl with like the big
that was
bugging
my
eyes.
favorite.
That shit
Yes.
is hilarious. That reminds me of Anya so much.
I
Like,
was gonna say Anya at first, but it actually reminds me more of Chowder, the fucking
oh
bunny
yeah.
girl from Chowder.
Panini or whatever the fuck her name
Panini,
was.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly. The
it
one that
does.
reminds me of Anya is the one above You Okay on that same page in the bottom right, with like just the white eyes.
Yeah.
But that one reminds me of Panini from Chowder.
Moving on, I do have something from Spy Family this week.
I thought you were
Funnily
gonna say
enough.
Chowder.
No, yeah, I brought Chowder to the table today, guys. Um, oh, someone messaged me. How dare they? In the middle of a podcast. Um, Spy Family is like the perfect. So it's kind of like a slice of life shonen. Um, where its humor really carries the story, right? Like when big action scenes aren't going on, it is mostly uh gags or like chapters will be setting up the entire time for a gag. So I think it is like a pretty good thing to be bringing up here and kind of the penultimate part of our conversation. Uh so I'm just the main reason there's so many pages for this one, you don't necessarily have to read these either. I'm just showing you the context for the character with like the long white hair there. Um the premise for this most recent arc is holy shit, what is her name? Well, what is
Lloyd.
no, not
Uh
Lloyd. Not Lloyd.
Casey Lowe.
The assassin chick. What the I can't believe I forgot her
Oh,
name. I'm blanking on it.
the wife, right?
The wife. Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh.
How did I
Uh
forget her name?
Your.
Thank you.
your
Jesus. That was bad. That was actually terrible of me. Because Yor's super fun. Yor is out in like a nature preserve with her other assassin buddies, and they're doing a thing where they're trying to take out poachers. Her and another assassin kind of get segmented off from their like chaperone essentially, and the other assassin tries to take out Yor because he's pissed off at her that she's or like assuming that she's gotten soft from being with the family this whole time undercover. Uh the premise of this is a very short like mini segment so far. This has only been like 3 chapters in this arc, if I can even call it that, because they set this character up and they set it up like this is going to be a big fight with this guy. Um I wish I remembered his name, but I don't. Uh he's really cool. His whole shtick is that he thinks that being a loner just makes him super strong in by proxy, like in comparison to Yor, who is probably the strongest assassin in her group. Because she has been undercover with a family this whole time, she has to have gotten soft, so he has to have gotten better than her. And he doesn't believe anything else. So they have this big fight. You see how intense it gets towards the back end of those pages I sent you guys. And then after Yor wins the fight, he, like, look at that last page. I fucking hope that his mental is broken to the point where that is just his face for the rest of this chapter. Or I'm sorry, for the rest of this arc rather. He acted like such a shithead the entire time. And then he's just like, I love, I guess, that his reaction to being beaten by somebody who has a family is, this whole time I could have had friends. I could have
Yeah.
made out with somebody. Are you
I thought
telling me
you
that was
meant
all for nothing?
I
What do
thought
you...
when you said loner, you meant just dating, but he means like
No, he
literally nobody.
literally doesn't engage with fucking anybody. That is his whole shtick.
Oh, that's crazy.
Also, his name is Hemlock, which I just caught on one of the pages. So
Hemlock. That's insane. That's a freaking Apex weapon.
he's a very cool character. I wasn't expecting his, like, first off, prior to this chapter, I thought he was a female. Doesn't seem to be the
I
case.
thought the same
Yeah,
thing.
I
You
thought
when you posted the first picture, I thought it was that I can't remember what she looks like, but I thought it was her, the one that was competing with Yor for
oh, the
Lloyd's
tennis chick. I know.
affection.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I thought it was
Frost.
her. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it was her at first, but then I was like, wait a minute, he just said he, and there's no one
yeah.
else in these panels besides Yor and who I thought was she.
For the first couple of page or chapters with this character in it, I don't think they referred to him as a he, but then randomly in this last chapter that they just put out, they mentioned, like, I think Yor says he in passing in her thoughts. And I was like, wait, what? Like, actually, I double took on it. I was like, there's no way that I just misgendered this character that bad. Uh, Probably on purpose, character design wise, if I had to take a wild guess. But
He kind of reminds me of Miwa from Jujutsu,
yeah. He's kind of got like a Miwa build going on. I get that.
or the suit too. Like she wears a suit.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But yeah, I am, again, perfect example of what I was saying prior to showing you guys these, that Spy Family is kind of the king of setting up these gags. Like specifically character gags and like character interaction gags. Like they will spend entire arcs setting up like a character just to show, or like, I guess it's like every character they introduce has some kind of major like character gag flaw. Like for Agent Frost, like you said, has like this incredible crush on Lloyd and will not give it up for anything. To the point where it's an active detriment to her health. Anya is just a fucking shit poster. I'm trying to think of like maybe one that's not super obvious on the top of my head.
Bond.
Lore's Christ.
Lore.
Yor's brother is super obsessed with Yor, and that's his like major shtick where it's an active detriment to himself. Just characters who come off as super cool, or like they'll set up like a super cool shonen character on the outside, and then as soon as we start to learn more about their character, it becomes like abundantly obvious that these characters have a couple of screws loose. Always a fun time getting these reveals and stuff though on Spy Family's behalf.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't
oh,
give this a good enough shot. Maybe I'll go back and
oh dude,
rewatch it
if I
or
just put you back onto
read more
Spy
of it.
Family, I love Spy Family so much. My actual only complaint with it is that sometimes like there's a bit too much filler in air quotes in between the main chapters, which I think I brought are like the main story beats, which I think I brought up on a previous episode maybe. I know I've definitely talked about it plenty, but sometimes it can go like 20, maybe 30 chapters without anything substantial happening in the story. They're all great chapters with their own gags and like character interactions getting built up, or relationships getting built up, but like, man, just sometimes it's like, oh, you know what? I did bring it up on the podcast because I remember when we got the chapter showing like a brief glimpse at Anya's mom, I was like, she's just been here the whole time? Like, we couldn't have just zoomed on to this one? Like, why the fuck did we have to sit with Frankie for 40 chapters? Which I think sets up good funnies in its own way. So kudos to the mangaka. Would you guys like to bring up any other good funnies?
Bro, this isn't
Or have anything else to
funny,
say?
but
Okay,
you said
this isn't funny. My bad. I think it's funny.
yeah, well, no. It's not related to the topic, but you just said kudos to the mangaka, and it unlocked a childhood memory. Do you remember the kudos like snack bars with the M&Ms on it, like the granola and the chocolate?
Yeah.
Those were so good. That's all.
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Steps
I'm
away
just
from the
saying.
mic.
That is all. It just unlocked something in me. It awakened something in me.
It awakened. I guess I brought a bonus one. Just a quick.
Oh, careful, bro. Careful.
Jesus.
Long day.
Dude, we should start recording these episodes a little earlier, I
You
feel.
think? Yeah.
Bro's like, a little quick.
Actually, we're cutting this. No, the episode's long enough. I'm not bringing this up.
Bruh. We'll bring it up
Okay, well, you know
afterwards.
what? I'll bring it up just quickly. I was gonna bring up oh, I posted this in the wrong chat. Hold on.
Yeah. Master Doc.
I was gonna bring up the scene from One Piece after they leave Wano and it's going
Bro,
over.
that's the funniest one, bro. What the fuck?
After they leave Wano and like news gets out to the world of what happened there. This is when Luffy like reaches the top rank of being a pirate, essentially outside of the King of the Pirates. And instead of like showing him in such a strong position or whatever, it's like he gets put in a cage by his own crew because he's such a fucking nightmare to deal with. As as Oda is revealing that he is now an emperor, they are like beating the shit out of him and keeping him locked up.
That's my favorite one, bro.
It's pretty good. One Piece has some great reaction shots too. I mean, you see Jinbei in the bottom left of that one when Nami yells at him. And that one has the best natural character interactions. Like everyone just feels like a good old family, like interacting with each other all the time. I can't even remember why they locked him up. I'm gonna be honest. I think I remember they tried to race Law and Kid off of Wano because they're trying to race to the end of the log post to get to the fucking One Piece, and they all jump off a fucking waterfall to do it. Like they just completely forgot how they ended up in Wano in the first place. It's pretty good.
Get out of that cage at any moment too. He
simply chooses not to.
Is existing in the cage.
Bro, they have that as a fucking action figure, by the way. So if you like it that much, I can find it for you.
Okay, if we ever get a spot where we can record the podcast in person and we get a shelf for the background, we have to put that Luffy figure in there.
Noted. Understood, Captain.
Put it in the master doc.
All right.
We all just start linking figures to put in the background.
Jay, do you have something from One Piece you want to bring up? Have you had any favorite funny moments?
Not anything specific, but for me, it's just the way Luffy reacts every single time he gets food on the table.
Oh yeah, he just like, yeah.
Like,
They
here,
say
I can pull up an image.
his character is very funny because like he's very. I saw a comment today that was like, Luffy's very emotionally like strong, but they portray him like such a fucking dumbass.
Yeah,
That's how to do
but
a
I feel like
character that has stupid moments, right?
it works
Yeah,
because he's been like that
the whole
well,
time.
the whole time. Unlike
Yeah,
with Goku, where it's like he matures in Z, and then it's just like Super comes around, and it's like, oh, I'm stupid again.
that's just true. He is stupid again.
It's stupid. Again.
As Jay looks up this image, I just this past week of storyboarding for DU, I got to do a pretty funny gag where I called back to Wisp, which is one of the villains of this first arc. He kind of blew a gasket, which I used to explain away why he came off as such a dickhead in the first encounter with him. And in this second encounter with him, he does the same thing again, and he like launches Brian through the air, like to the opposite end of where they're fighting, like this giant, like, yeah, that image of Luffy's awesome. He just, I think he like runs out of the place with that food in that scene,
I think so.
or he just eats it and then runs out. But Wisp like launches Brian to the end of this like big waste dump, and then he watches him soar off into the distance, and he's like, "Fuck, I did it again. I gotta stop doing that." It's, I love.
He does have a bad habit.
He does have a bad habit of doing that. I love writing funny bits into my own story, so I'm sure all these mangaka that we've brought up today and all these different stories, they also probably enjoy writing their characters like this.
And we enjoy reading them like that.
Correct. Man, I I don't want to host another episode for like 2 months because I feel like every time I host an episode, my voice is shot by the end of it.
You just need to drink more water, bro.
Yeah.
I am drinking a Dr. Peebus. Maybe that's why.
Doctor what?
Sorry, Dr. Peps. Dr.
What? Did you actually say that by accident?
Yes, I meant to say
No
Diet
way.
Peebus.
Wait, what?
And as a
You
joke
said it again.
for Diet Pepsi, but instead I said Dr. Peebus like I was
Oh.
saying Dr. Pepper. Jesus Christ.
I didn't know Peebus was a nickname for Pepsi.
I don't know. It is now, man. Like that's what we call it in my friend group. I don't know who you are. You're not my friend.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so the indie recommend for today, if no one has anything else to bring up, is Death to All Slashers by PR Daedalus. It is a web comic on Webtoons. I believe it has 8 chapters out at the moment. It is. I'm actively looking up the screenshots I took of it to post in the chat. So give me just a quick moment. I know that was such an amazing transition by me, and just to stumble, I can't find these images. Where are they? There they are. Death to All Slashers is a story about a girl named Bianca who is a filmmaker in a world where slashers are like real things that exist. Like horror movie slashers are real things that exist. And she goes around trying to film her taking them down to get good footage to enter like film festivals and stuff. The style of this webcomic is fucking awesome. Very like so much detail in every panel for it. You may have noticed the duck.
I didn't notice the duck.
You noticed the duck now.
Okay. So I noticed the duck. I was gonna say I didn't notice him. I didn't pay more attention to him as much as the Rob Zombie reference in the first one.
Okay, perfect. So
Bob Zombie.
this series has like references up the ass. Like it is one of the major selling points of it. That's the duck going Super Saiyan. That is
Oh,
that
nice.
might have been one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my life.
Is this one? Is the whole thing in color for this one?
Yes, it is. Death to all slashers if you want to find it on Webtoons. Very funny. So essentially, like they're going around. Bianca picks up her sister to help her film, or I guess like the premise is her camera shots suck. So she has to pick up her sister in the first chapter to help her record her fights. And from there, she goes around hunting slashers and chaos ensues. The duck is just kind of like her partner. They don't really explain it. As far as I'm aware, I've only read like 5 chapters of it.
Does
It
that have a
hasn't
name?
really. He does have a name. Let me do a quick little search into this. Yeah, his name is Peebus. The duck's name is it. It is also good to mention that the PR Daedalus' like online persona is a duck, so you can kind of
So that's that.
treat it like a self-insert.
I gotcha.
His name is. Sorry, he's kind of like honking right now. I'm looking for a name drop. Gus. His name is Gus. So if we got any Gus, or if I've created any Gus fans out there, you're welcome, Daedalus.
Gus, like
You got a Gus fan in me.
Huh?
What? You've got a Gus fan in me? Is that so wrong?
No, it's not. I just said huh because I didn't
Huh?
hear you.
Pause? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't pause, bro.
Okay. So
Okay.
that is all I've got for us this episode. Do you guys have any closing remarks for the funny episode? The big funny episode 14?
14.
14.
As Logue goes to pick his next topic for after the Mob Psycho review, which is coming out next week.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe not next week, but the next episode that we're recording.
Yeah.
Who knows? That
Oh yeah.
I guess as Logue does pick his next topic, I will say that now that we are more caught up to our recordings and like pretty much recording the week the episodes are going live instead of having so much in the back burner as we get set up and into the groove of recording these. It's very possible that there might be a week or like a 2-week gap where we just don't post an episode because, life gets in the way. I feel like it's a fair trade for being so up to date on stuff. Helps the manga spotlight, the new manga spotlight that's been there the whole time, really thrive, I think, as we talk about more current event stuff. But we'll see. We'll see if that pays off. I thought you were about to pick the rom-com one.
No, I'm deciding between the well, I was gonna pick the rom-com or slice of life because I feel like that kind of ties in with Mob as well. So to have like a comedy episode that references Mob before it and then this episode after, but I feel like we might be talking a little bit about the slice of lifeness of Mob when we talk about it.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'll do. Bro, some of these are so vague. It's crazy. Superheroes in manga and anime. Like,
In terms of
holy
like
shit, bro.
Okay,
that one seems like
Come back.
written vaguely, but I mean like traditional superheroes. So like kind of how My Hero sets them up.
Oh, like
I
a
was gonna say, like
Superman type of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Spider-Man manga.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go with
Reader or listeners are why I call them. I'm just gonna call our listeners readers now. Fuck it. I don't care.
Actually,
I
that
messed
makes
that
a
up
lot of
like
sense because
15
we're
times.
anime and manga,
Yep.
manga
Hey readers,
reading.
how you doing? Welcome back to Infinite Volume. See, I've got that one on lock already.
All right, it's been so long since I've highlighted something. I forgot what the color is.
Every fucking week, man.
There
I
we
swear
go.
to God, like genuinely, it is abysmal to use to use the highlight tool in Google Docs. Okay.
I've
So
chosen environments in manga and how they can change a story.
understood. I enjoy a good environment in le
I
manga.
know what I'm gonna bring up.
Really? Well.
I know two
IQ.
things I'm gonna bring up.
Oh,
No.
okay. IQ.
I was like, of
No.
course. You gotta bring the hey.
And to be fair, Haikyuu does do some cool stuff with its
IQ
environment.
does come up. It has to come up in every episode. At
It
least
does have
once.
to come up in every episode.
I just had to
Obligatory
make sure
Haikyuu
it came up.
reference.
Yeah, kinda
Hinata's
does.
basically our mascot. If you really think about it. Jay's kind of just like there, but like anyways, everyone, I hope you're looking forward to the mob review. Hope you're looking forward to environments in manga. Have a good out there. Have a very safe and happy good.
Have a good.
Ever good?
Have a good.
I forget every week how
Have a
to
good.
turn Greg off. Okay, there we
I
go.
mean,